Well, look at you guys popping in here. This is awesome to see. All right, everybody. Hello. This is Jenny with the Revival of America podcast. And today we have Dallas in the house, everybody. He is back. He is going to be sharing hopefully some good information. He hasn't been on with us for a couple weeks. But real quickly, before we get into it, everybody, here are my PSAs. I know you love them, but I got to do them. Everybody, please be careful who you listen to, who you follow. It is it's the wild, wild west out there, everybody. It is crazy. People are losing their minds, but at the same token, they are being called out. They are being exposed. These fake podcasters slash influencers. Oh my gosh, it's becoming clearer by the day who the propaganda arms are, and who people have been listening to be be pushing out this BS, right? So a lot of it's going on right now over there on X, everybody. We had some challenges here a couple years ago in Telegram, but I think it's funny how X says X is the battleground right now. Absolutely, 100% it is. So if your mind isn't prepared for what you're going to hear over there, please don't even attempt it. Get out of it. Just protect your mind, everybody, because it's wild. But they are so far behind. They're talking about a lot of the things that we have already discussed or our guests have already talked to us about. So we are ahead of the game, everybody. We are on the right track. So that is good to know. But X seems to think that you heard it here first. No, you didn't. There's been so many people in this game for so long researching the stuff that they're starting to talk about now. So everybody, be careful who you listen to, who you follow, what you're putting in your mind. Stick and stay with the 3 to 5 people that haven't led you wrong through the course of your journey here, because more than likely they're going to get you through the hump of this, because it's going to be a wild summer. Let's just say that. Also, too, everybody, if you come in late to the podcast, you can follow the podcast host on any of the social medias or the podcast host. We are being listened to in over 100 countries. We are making some great positive noise. So please go check us out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, Breaker, PocketCast, Podbean, Riverside, Amazon Music. Or you can check out the social medias at Jenny JERREAD Facebook, at Jenny_JERREAD, X, at JJERREAD Rumble, at JJERREAD Instagram, at JJERREAD True Social, the Revival of America right here on Telegram, and the Revival of America over on YouTube, and then at the official JJERREAD over on TikTok. Those are just, that's just like a little video thing that I kind of throw up updates on the show lineup, etc. Also, too, everybody, check out the website, therevivalofamerica.com. Fill out the newsletter. It is free. You will get the weekly updates on the show lineup with the guests and the times, as well as the notifications on new podcasts. And everybody, if you have a story or a journey to tell, please feel free to reach out to me at troasubmissions@yahoo.com. We're going to have a submission form here eventually for you guys to fill out, I think, on that. But this is where you can give us the synopsis of your story that you want to get shown here on the podcast. So please give us a little bit, like a paragraph. We'll reach out to you. We do vet these, because unfortunately we do get fake stories, fake people wanting to try to get on the show, and I don't do fake, as you know. So, and I don't do bullshit. So please, again, troasubmissions@yahoo.com, because remember, everybody, it's your voice, your stories that are going to help shape this new world we're coming into. And I highly encourage it, everybody. A lot of people are feeling more confident now about bringing their stories to the forefront, because I think they're starting to feel a little bit safer with Trump, in the administration right now. Also, everybody, we've got some good shows coming up. We're going to have Carrie Kaysen come on. We're going to have Sheriff Mack. We also have a pastor that wants to come onto the show. He is the founder of Pastors for Trump. So he is a White House faith counselor. So that should be a great show as well. So look for those dates, everybody. I will be scheduling those and putting them up as soon as I can. But without any further ado, because I know you want to hear Dallas, and he hasn't been here in a couple weeks, and he's in the house. So I want to welcome Dallas. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm glad I wasn't late.
You did good.
Yeah, no, it's been a couple weeks. I was at a preteen boys mission camp last week for first graders through sixth graders, all boys, down in South Louisiana. So we fortunately we were not affected by any of the stuff we watched over the weekend with the camp down in South Texas. But that's where I was. That's what I was doing. I'm going to have to switch out of my car, so give me just a second. I'm going to try to make sure I get the audio fixed. Hold on.
Oh, no, no, no. You're good. You're good, everybody.
Oh, that's not where I want.
Also, to everybody. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
that's not
We
what I want.
see. Everybody after Dallas, Captain Kyle will be here at 5:30 Central Standard Time. So tune in for that podcast as well while we're waiting for Dallas to switch over. Let us know when you're ready, my friend.
Yeah, the problem is I just can't get my speaker to click on. Hold on.
Can you not hear us or hear me? I hear me echoing in the
I'm gonna
background.
go out and I'm gonna come right back in. Give me a second.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, everybody, real quickly, I want to be sure to reinforce everybody to hang on to the positives that are going on. There's so many positives that are going on and the winning that we're doing. So really hang on to those. A lot of what we're listening to and seeing, with this Pam Bondi and Cash Patel stuff, a lot of distractions, everybody. So please just be careful, hang on to the positives because that's always is gonna always help you get through any negative times that you're going through. And of course, eyes on God, everybody, because at the end of the day, this is all Him, and He has already won this war. Go ahead, Dallas. Can you hear me now? We can't hear you. Hi, Troy. How are you? I see you up here. What's up?
Oh, there is so much going on, Jenny. It's unbelievable. Uh,
I need to get you scheduled on a show ASAP.
I texted you back there the other day, and I said Wednesday.
Oh,
Did you
this
not get that
Wednesday?
text?
Oh my
This
gosh,
one
no.
today.
Oh, oh
You asked me if
shit.
I wanted to come on. You asked me if I wanted to come on, and I said Wednesday, but that's okay. We'll get back on schedule here.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard, but the buzz right now on Twitter is Jerome Powell has resigned.
I saw that, and I was gonna repost that, but I was gonna dig into that after my podcast here. But so you got that clarification too. You got it. You got that info, huh?
We kind of had that rumor this morning that he was going to resign, but there's some pretty reliable sources coming out now with sources that say he's resigning.
Well, that's huge. That's huge, everybody. That's huge.
That means we're going to end the Fed.
Yeah, that's huge, everybody. See, there's an exciting positive piece of news right there. And just add that to everything else that's going on. You guys, a lot of these podcasters out there crying about the whole Epstein thing with Pam Bondi and everything, they are being called out left and right. And when I say words matter, words matter. A lot of these podcasters slash influencers are talking about a list, but if you listen to Pam Bondi, she talks about files, and even Trump came out and said it on a news. I don't know. He was out being asked questions. I think this morning or yesterday, and they're talking. The words just aren't the same. They're twisting the words to fit their agenda. So please be careful. All right, Dallas, you want to go ahead and try to
Yeah.
speak?
Sorry,
Hey.
I'm back. I couldn't get my speaker to like activate. I could, if I put it to my ear, I could hear you, but no, I'm back. So I don't know what you were saying about Trump and about Epstein because that's one of the things I was going to talk about real quick because
Oh
um,
well, basically, I was just saying, you have a lot of these so-called influencers or whatever. They're just that's what they're focusing on, the surface stuff, right? They don't realize that this could lead to something so much bigger. The Diddy thing is not over yet by any means. We have
no,
Russia coming out, and they're just people are jumping ship now. And oh, I'm so disappointed in Trump. I don't trust him anymore, and his cabinet, they're all compromised. And I'm like, really, everybody? Like, Pam Bondi cannot say anything that she does not know. She can't give you information that if she hasn't, been in a file or what have you to look at it. So people are twisting the words, I believe, to fit their narrative. And then Troy, we were talking about too, so the news that Jerome Powell is resigning. So if yeah, go ahead, touch on everything you want. Floor is yours, my friend.
yeah, no. I mean, my thing on the influencers or whatever you want to call them, truth tellers, anybody that comes out and says, "Oh, that's it. There's no list. There's no crime. Epstein killed himself. They're just chills." Like, I don't know how much they're getting paid, but everybody on the planet knows that there's a list. There's He didn't do it by himself. He didn't download 10,000 hours of child porn just for him. He didn't violate 1,000 victims by himself. um, and you know, I'll be honest with you. I was pretty pissed Monday, and I was confused, just like everybody else. Like, whoa, 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 what are you talking about? I think Trump is a master at words, and I think, and maybe that's the telltale, right? Is that he and Pam Bondi have used some words, or not Pam, but I mean, Pam Bondi just straight up lied, you know, based on what she has said previously. But Trump, you know, the yesterday at the cabinet meeting, you know, he's asked about Epstein, and he was like, "What? We're still talking about that dude? Come on, man, we got trade deals. You know, trade deals are way more important." No, they're not, right? Like Trump didn't say that on accident. I think it was a poor choice of words. I think he could have said it differently. But Carolyn, you know, the press secretary, basically said, you know, she used the word "act of God" for the floods that took place in South Texas and the camps and the, you know, 100 and some odd that have passed away, and the, you know, 20 some children. That wasn't an act of God. That, if nothing else, that was an act of man, an act of nature maybe, but not an act of God. This is not God punishing anybody or anything like that, which is what the left is trying to do, or trying to paint this as. But I think it's a big, huge sting. And you know, it took me about 24 hours to kind of see through. Well, first of all, probably see through my own anger and my own, you know, mild sense of betrayal, you know, because I just like, whoa, 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 what, like, you got elected partly on getting to the bottom of Epstein, you know, and I just, what better way to expose the criminals than to let them think that they got away with it, just like they did with JFK, just like they did in 9/11, just like they did with the Oklahoma City bombing, the World Trade Center bombing in Oklahoma City. That was all to cover up cabal evidence, right? I mean, those were Building 7 and 9/11. Those were all cover-ups. So that destruction, that death, that false flag, which doesn't mean people didn't die, but that it wasn't what it was presented to be. I believe that this is the same thing in reverse. And it started with Trump and Musk, you know, when they had their little tiff, and then Musk got all pissed off and was like, well, they're not releasing the list because Trump's on the list. And then within hours, the Democrats came out and said, well, if Trump's on the list, we want the list. Well, all of you are on the list, you dummies. but they bought it, right? They jumped headfirst into the booby trap, and that started the movement. I mean, what has dominated non-mainstream media for the last 3 days? The word Epstein, the name Epstein. So it brought it full
Bringing attention.
Yeah, full force back into the forefront. But if, let's say, for instance, there was a bunch of evidence stored in an underground bunker somewhere around the Guadalupe River, and then, oh, it flooded. Oh, well, we destroyed the evidence. And then literally within hours, the Trump administration comes out and says, oh, there's no evidence. He didn't, you know, he killed himself. There's no conspiracy. There's no list. There were victims, but they were all Epstein's. That nobody else, even though hundreds, if not thousands of people have been to his island and all this stuff. And the bad guys go, oh, we did it again. We got away with it. Right. And so I think it's a big, huge sting operation. I'm not always a big fan of it's a military operation and you just gotta let the military because I'm not in the military. And that kind of mentality, and this is my own personal opinion. So please, if you disagree with me, that's fine, but just understand you're disagreeing with me as a person, not as an institution or this channel or anything like that. But I agree it's the military operation, but the problem is I'm not in the military. So I have no insight into it whatsoever, and neither does anybody else, unless you're actively a part of the military working on these things. If you're in the military, you awesome. You can probably decode some things that maybe I don't see, but um, I was pretty frustrated. I was pissed coming out of the weekend because of the flooding and the way that it was being presented and the way that the left was bending it. And oh, they deserved it because they voted for Trump. If you know anything about that region of Texas from Austin to south to San Antonio, which is exactly where the flooding happened, that is the most liberal part of Texas. And I mean, it's more liberal than California. So if you're saying that they deserved it, the people that live there because they voted for Trump, you're full of garbage and you have no idea what you're talking about because the vast majority of them voted for Kamala Harris. That is super liberal. So I was a little frustrated with that. I was really pissed off about the Epstein thing, but cooler heads prevailed in my own world. And I am probably more excited now about what we're seeing evolve in the world than I maybe I've ever been. And on the RV side, I think things are pressing forward faster and harder than ever before, but they're absolutely being covered up by all this other stuff, which also probably is part of the plan. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and to your point, yeah, this is very strategic, everybody. I mean, we're in war. You got to look weak when you're strong, right? We can't give your enemy the next move. And I do believe this whole Epstein thing, what has it done? It has created a lot of chaos. Look over here when we should be looking over there. But guess what? It's brought attention to it full circle. People are asking questions, whereas they weren't asking questions before. Like a lot of these people over on X, well, where were you at when we were talking about this 5 years ago when it came out, right?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, oh, they're the place to go get the info. No, you're way behind. But
Yeah.
then also too, you've got the Democrats. They're asking for the Epstein files to be released. What
Yep.
better way to catch them all, right? We have it all. We've caught them all. So I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to take a deep breath when it comes to this. I understand the frustration. Trust me, I get it. Sometimes we got to step back a little bit, look at the 40,000 view, because the next day, what came out after that, Trump's going to he agrees to give more weapons to Ukraine. And people went off on that. And I was just laughing because at this point, it's comical. And then now you have, guess what? Russia, Russia, Russia. That thing is about to pop off. And this is just something that's going to open up more. That's why people got to dig deeper, look deeper into it, because the whole Epstein thing is going to pop off. It's going to pop off everything else. It's going to lead, all roads lead to Obama, everybody, and the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation. So take a few deep breaths, everybody, and breathe, and just watch who you are following and listening to. I can't tell you that enough, because I'm telling you, I'm seeing people over there on X that are Trump, Trump, Trump. They've been Trump. Now they're like, no, I'm black pilled. I'm not a Trump supporter. They're jumping ship. Don't do that. That's what they want. People's emotions are getting involved, and people's egos are getting involved. And this is the chaos that we're seeing. So go ahead, Dallas.
No, 100%. CNN is talking about Epstein and the list. MSNBC is talking about Epstein and the list. They're all talking about Russia, Russia, Russia. They're all talking about Ukraine. Today during the meeting that Trump had in the White House with the leaders from Africa, a reporter asked him about the shipment to Ukraine. And he goes, the reporter said, well, it's been halted. Well, who halted it? And Trump says, I don't know. He said, well, so isn't that concerning that decisions are being made in your administration and you don't know about it? And Trump then follows up and goes, oh no, I know about everything. And the reporter was
What did
just,
he say?
he said, I know everything. He said, no decision gets made in my administration. Right after he just said, oh, I don't know who did that. And then he said, I make every decision and nothing happens without me knowing. So who halted the munitions to Ukraine? Well, Trump did, right? And he just told us, like he literally said it, and then he double talked himself, and the reporter was just like dumbstruck, like,
I
what?
love it.
Yeah. So it's Russia, Russia, Russia. Well, what's Russia, Russia, Russia? Russia is the 2020 election and the fraud that took place, that took Trump out of office for 4 years and put Biden in, right? And again, it's all you're 100% right. It's all tied to Obama. It's all tied to the Clintons. It's all tied to GMOs GMOs, not GMOs, NGOs.
NGOs.
GMOs are bad too, but NGOs. It's all tied to Soros, and it's like priming the pump, right? I mean, you can feel the pressure building, and you're seeing it again. You're seeing it in, and I'm not going to name names because that's just not my style. But there are predominant conservative podcasters mostly that are all of a sudden like, oh, there's no, oh, Epstein killed himself, even though they were screaming from the top of their lungs 5 years ago that he didn't kill himself. Oh, Epstein killed himself. We've known that. There's no list. There's no conspiracy. There was no, like it just seriously, really, like you're gonna flip from one side to the other over a 24-hour period. And and Trump said it. Trump said it back in the '80s. How who your friends are the first time you go bankrupt, and you see who starts stabbing you in the back and starts talking trash about you. Well, I think Trump's doing it again, right? And we've joked. Well, we haven't joked about it. We talked about it the last 3 days on PPN. What happened to all those truthers that got the Epstein binders? Right?
Oh,
Where are
let me.
they?
Well, you know what? DC Drano came out and he addressed it because they're getting some flack, everybody. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, where are they? Right? I mean, I don't hear one of them talking pro or negative, right? They're just all of a sudden they all fell off the planet. Well, why were they selected? So
Yeah, so everybody, we're just seeing a lot of confusion, right? And we've been told this was going to happen. We know a lot of these podcasters and everything are going to go to the wayside, and there's some people out there that clearly aren't paying attention. They're saying podcasters are going away. No, podcasters aren't going away. Fortunately, they're not going away, but also fortunately, the bad ones, the propagandized ones, are going to go away, and they're being exposed right now. The fake influencers, the fake podcasters, people out there misguiding you with bad information. So trust me, everybody, podcasters are here to stay, and the good ones at least. So, and I'll tell you this right now: the Revival of America is not going anywhere. We are just growing, growing, growing. So again, stick and stay with the people that haven't led you wrong through the course of your journey. Everybody, tighten up that circle. It's time to pick that side, everybody. You got to pick the side, and I'm seeing people are picking the side, and a lot of people are jumping ship and not supporting Trump anymore. But I'll tell you what, I'm sticking and staying with Trump. I trust the man. I believe the plan, and most of all, I trust in God, because without God, none of this would be happening. So I'm excited about what's happening. I'm sitting back watching all these people lose their minds. Yes, the children are the most important, and this is what this movement is about. This is why I created my podcast. But I'll tell you what, it's going to bring so much light to the children here, what we're going to be coming into, that I mean, everybody's going to want to get involved when it comes to the children. So I am noticing that a lot more people are starting to now talk about the children and what has happened to them than what we have seen in the past. So if this move created that, and for the people on CNN and MSNBC, they're talking about it, then guess what? Those people still watching those dumbass channels, maybe they're going to finally start seeing the light, because unfortunately we do have people still with their shitty beer goggles on that just don't think anything's happening or everything's normal. So,
yeah.
or they're just really that brain dead. So I don't know.
There's a lot of brain dead, and and again, I've said it before here that there's a portion of our population that are going to just drop dead when the real truth is revealed and the EBS happens. I mean, they're going to either have coronaries, they're going to have heart attacks, or they're just going to go straight comatose. Like they're just going to lay down on their couch and they're never going to get up, and that sucks. But it's a small percentage, but those people are the ones, they're like ostriches, right? I mean, they have their heads so far stuck in the dirt that a flood is happening and everybody's blowing the whistle and everybody's blaring the siren saying, hey, pull your head out of the dirt, there's water coming. And all of a sudden their head's stuck under the water and they drown, and they're like, well, nobody told me. Like, yeah, we did.
Yep, yep. So do you see anything in the RV world? I know you're briefly starting to hit on it, but what are you seeing? Anything?
Well, I told everybody that I was looking forward to July 4th because that was a date that I had been told weeks and weeks and weeks ago was pivotal. And then, we saw all the drama about the big beautiful bill, and I'm still a little bit torn on it because there are parts of it that I just don't agree with and I don't understand, but there's also parts that are completely 100% unconstitutional, which basically voids the entire thing when it's all said and done. If not if when we go back to public and when we go back to constitutional law, then the vast majority of the big beautiful bill it becomes null and void because there are pretty big parts of it that are 100% unconstitutional, right? They take the sovereignty away from the states, they take the sovereignty away from we the people, and that violates the Constitution. And I think it was done on purpose. Um, are there a lot of good things in the bill? Yes, 100%. I read something about, the liberals are like, well, he said he was going to, no tax on tips, but that's only cash tips, and most tips are done on credit cards. Well, if you read the IRS tax code, cash tips include digital credit card tips. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of talking points and little nuances within the bill that are giving people things to talk about, which are, again, bringing it to the forefront. But on the RV side, the fourth was a big deal. um, from what I'm hearing and what I'm being told, it wasn't the trigger, but it was like the event. Like it was the day and the events that were needed to push this thing forward. All last week they were doing tests, and all the tests were successful. And there's a lot of positivity centered around this week. We're already on Wednesday. I'm hoping to hear or see something, again on the upper tiers, right? I'm not talking about the RV and the redemption centers for us. I mean, we're not there yet, but I am very confident that we're going to see some major movement this month. July 14th is what I've been told is the USN has to be announced before July 14th because that is the initiation of ISO 222. And Basel 3, Basel 4 went into place on July 1st. We had the big beautiful bill on July 4th, and July 14th is the end all be all date for ISO 222. And I've been told now again, we get to the 15th and there's no USN. Well, we have to go back to the drawing boards, but I've been told that it is being mandated by the world courts, by the Chinese elders, and by the powers that be that the USN has to be announced before that, and that will be the trigger for everything to start rolling downhill. Now, again, please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we're going to be in redemption centers on the 15th, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the process has started. What I was told is that everything was completed last week. All the tests and all the trials and all the contracts and everything that we've been hearing about for months and months and months, and honestly, in certain cases, years, that was all completed last week. And now we're literally just sitting and waiting. One thing that was interesting, because I've actually said the opposite, something it wasn't communicated, well, it was communicated directly to me, but that Trump is now the end all be all. He is the one that's going to flip the switch or push the button or however you want to envision it, visualize it. But it is now the whole world is waiting on Trump, and the USN will continue to be the reserve currency of the world as we transition, but it's going to bring the whole world onto parity. Have you noticed how Trump has been really hammering the BRICS nations the last 24 hours?
Yes.
Well, why is he doing that? Again, we got to read between the lines. He's hammering BRICS because he wants the world talking about BRICS. What is BRICS? Well, it is asset-backed countries. Well, if you're a part of BRICS, I'm gonna tariff you. He just stroked a deal with Vietnam, and Vietnam just joined BRICS. He is stroking a deal right now with African countries. most of which are a part of BRICS. He wants, he's doing a deal with, um, oh my gosh, it's a Middle Eastern country. I just lost the name of it, but they're a part of BRICS. So why is he bashing BRICS and saying he's going to tariff them when he is literally stroking deals, trade deals right now with those same exact countries? It's all it's a shell game, right? It's the you got three shells and you got the little acorn that's in the middle of one of them, right? And he's spinning them around, spinning around. Which shell's it under, right? Nobody knows because it's a magic trick, right? But um, I'm really really excited over the next couple weeks um, that we're going to see some real solid movement. We are seeing movement. It just sucks because it's not moving where we can see. You know what I mean? Like it's not affecting us directly. Do I have money in my account? No. Um, are people moving and traveling to 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 contracts are complete? Are they traveling to finalize the transfers of money? Yes. What does that mean for us? Well, it means the process is rolling downhill and we just got to continue to be patient. There's, so much has taken place just in the last, you know, 72 hours to now I'm getting out of my math wheelhouse, but 94, whatever that is, the last 4 or 5 days, a lot has happened since the fourth. And I am excited.
There, everybody, yeah, a lot has happened since the fourth, and I mean, even since Trump has been in here. So I think we really need to grasp onto those positive things and get excited. I know we're going to see some spots. Even, Juan Savit, I'm trying to get him on next week too. Everybody, he's even said it. Through the summertime, we can see some rough roads, but we know this, so we know how to prepare for it mentally, physically. We know how to do that, so we know better. So when you go over to X and you listen to these people, you should be sitting back, just kind of shaking your head in disbelief that you're just now talking about this. Where were you 5 years ago? Type deal, right? And so yeah. So with that, everybody, Dallas, I know there's a lot of questions already. Hands have been raised and some questions on the wall. Are you ready to take some questions, or did you want to go over anything else?
No, let's dive in.
All right. Also, to everybody, if you were not on the show last night for Colonel Towner Watkins, please go check it out on any of the podcast hosts or the Rumble page or YouTube page. It's there. Great information, great breakdown of how Operation Gladio is basically what we're seeing right now. Great information. It was fire. Okay. So with that, everybody, let's see. We've got Texas Artist. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. First off, we need your truth, and we need Dallas's truth, so y'all don't go anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Good. So what I wanted to mention, just to piggyback on what Dallas had said about the possibility of files underneath Guadalupe River. A podcaster, Ishmael Perez, he is associated with the Galactic Alliance. He said that that was the case, and that there was an underground shootout, and that all the files that were there got destroyed. They were full of all kinds of evidence against the cabal. And anyway, I just wanted to mention that. And then I want to also move back up to the RV. And Dallas, I know that there's a lot of things that are going on, and there's a lot of reasons why there might be a delay. Like maybe, I don't know, bakes might not be ready, or because there's a lot of us, just like what, 10 to 12 million, and just things like that. In your estimation, I realize it's an estimation. How long do you think that the 4B group will be waiting before we'll have our opportunity? Do you think it will stretch out as far as August and September? That's it.
Well, it's funny because I was just thinking about that. I don't know if you guys know this, but the fiscal year for our government, like we're in the fourth quarter. We're halfway through the first month of the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter ends at the end of September. October is the beginning of our fiscal year as a government. And what I've been told is that everything is supposed to be in play by the end of this fiscal year. So by the end of September, things should be rolling. And again, I know it sucks. You're like, September. Well, I mean, that's 2.5 months away, right? I mean, and I trust me, I hate even uttering the words, but I think by the end of this month, we're going to see some. We're going to see enough significant movement on the sovereign side, the family side, and the military side of this RV and the GCR, the global currency reset. Iraq is right. I mean, oh my gosh, they've been on the tipping point for freaking ever, but they are about to finalize the Kurdistan region and the salaries and all that stuff. I mean, it's right. They're right on the cusp of it. I think they're dragging their feet because now they're waiting on Trump, from what I've been told. You know, for a long time, I was under the impression or being led to believe that the United States was kind of dragging their feet. You mentioned the banks. One of the big hiccups has been American banks. They have drugged their feet on this Basel 3, Basel 4, ISO 222, and now they realize that they are out of time. And so now they're scrambling to try to get ready to take care of the 10 to 13 million Americans that have foreign currency. That was part of the hangup from what I've been told. And but they're, again, the 14th is the end all. It's the drop dead date as far as ISO 222. There's not supposed to be any more extensions, any more. Well, we'll give you another 30 days to get your crap together. It's get your crap together or you're out. And there's enough banks around the world and in the United States that are compliant on all levels that this thing will move forward. The banks that aren't, they'll just go away. And I don't, I'm not necessarily referring to Wells Fargo or Bank of America or anything like that, but there are definitely branches that are going to just all of a sudden you're going to show up and they're going to have close signs. It doesn't mean that Wells Fargo closed. It just means that branch didn't do what it needed to do to be ready, right? Or they, as a whole, the company didn't do what it needed to do to make sure that branch was ready. But I think we're ready. I know. So that's the evidence under the Guadalupe. The story is that it was destroyed. I don't think it was destroyed. I think the White Hats knew exactly what was being targeted, and they did what they needed to preserve that evidence on the cabal. So I think it's a really convenient story, but I also think it's like the best ruse ever, right? And yesterday, it really just hit me, the art of war, right? Appear weak when you're strong, appear strong when you're weak. Keep your enemies close, your friends close and your enemies closer. We are literally watching that happen right now. The
I
cabal,
agree.
they think they got away with it again, but
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
I
telling you
agree.
they didn't. Not this time.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with you. And what better ruse than to make them think they were destroyed when they weren't?
Correct.
And then and right after that was whenever Pam Bundy said, "Well, we don't have any files." So
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Texas artist. Okay, Chip Cherry, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
How you doing, Dallas? You doing all right today?
I'm hanging in there, brother. I'm better today than I was yesterday. I was pretty pissed
Oh,
off.
same here. I've been pissed for 3 days. So, and I don't think that, and I'll respectfully disagree. I don't think that makes you dislike Trump for being angry at an action. Um, I'm a huge Alabama football fan and loved Nick Saban and trusted him for 17 years. It didn't mean I didn't disagree with things he did.
Yeah.
So I don't think that takes you off the support list. I think it just, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I've been pretty angry about it because I think that's an important thing. But
Well, no, it's not Dallas being taken off the support list. It's other people that are voicing it, their opinions.
and
Like
that's what I
I'm no
mean.
longer.
That's
Well,
what I
no, no.
mean.
Well, no,
That's
but
what
it's
I'm
people.
meaning. I'm not talking about Dallas. I'm talking
No,
about
Chip.
everybody.
Hang on, Chip. But people out there are voicing it, saying they're done. They're not supporting Trump. They're that kind of stuff. I'm black pilled now, so no. People literally are out there saying it that have been walking this walk, this red line, red pill. On the good part side of it. But now they're on the other side, not supporting. They are voicing that loud and clear.
Yeah, I get it. I can't blame them. I mean, because that could have been a reason they voted for him.
Mhm. Well,
I can't blame them. So
I said
I
on
hope they
Monday.
don't. I hope they go back to liking him. But anyway, I don't think that's. But what do I know? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
taking what I think. Like I was
I hear what
angry
you're
at him,
saying.
but that doesn't
I
mean
hear
I
what you're
don't
saying.
like him.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, from the RV standpoint, I got a question for you. The like I've had Iraqi dinar since 2001. Um, I have some of them that have certificate of the authenticity certificates, but not all of them.
Mhm.
Will that become an issue when it comes time to?
I don't believe so. I think all and I'll put it in the context of scare tactics, but the talk about authenticity and you have to have your receipts and all this stuff. It, if you have, were you in the military? Is that how or why you
No,
got it?
no, I did it. I did it years ago. I mean, I'm 50 years old now, but back then, like the Kuwaiti dollars,
Yeah,
that worked.
yeah,
So I saw that from a resource of mine, and bought them back then. Like when we
okay,
went to war with Iraq,
yep.
I bought them back then. So
Well,
they've been like souvenirs for freaking 20 years. But anyway, but
no,
but
trust me. I think if you walked in with a freaking suitcase full of dinar, they're probably going to want to be able to verify where and how you got that, right? I mean, did you steal it from somewhere? Did you know what I mean? Like, how did you get,
which I
$100 million
don't
worth
have that
of,
many. What I
well,
have is, I hate to give numbers over, but I just have like 1.5 million of them.
right. But that's what I'm saying. If you have a small amount, which most of us have relatively small amounts of most of these currencies, right? I mean, maybe the Bolivar being the one exception because it's so silly cheap.
Yeah,
But,
it is. Yeah.
but even that, I mean, you're going to be able to justify why you have so many, right? Well, they were 50 cents a pop. You know what I mean? Like if I have a $10 bill, I got a couple hundred million, you know what I mean? But it's what they're referring to when they reference the authenticity and the receipts is if you have exorbitantly large amounts of a particular currency, that raises flags, right? It's the same concept of US dollars, right? When this USN is launched and you can take in like I have $68 in 20s, 10s, fives, and ones in my wallet right now, like cash, right? If the USN is announced and I walk into a bank and say, hey, I want to exchange this $68 for the new USN, they're not going to bat an eye. They're going to go, okay. And they're going to give me $68 of the new bill. If I walk in with a pallet of
Yeah.
freshly cut $100 bills in sequential order and say, I want to cash this in and I want to exchange it, they're going to ask questions, right? Like,
Yeah.
where and how did you get, you know, $1.7 billion worth of US dollars? And so it's not the small amounts, it's the big giant amounts that people are going to be able to have to justify and validate. It's not little amounts. It's not I got a couple million dinar, I got a couple million dong, I got a couple million, I got 10 $100 trillion zim notes. They're not going to ask questions about that. But if you walked in with a truckload, they're going to ask you some questions and you're going to have to be able to validate that. Otherwise, they're not going to exchange all of it because that that more than likely came somehow through nefarious ways. Does that make sense?
It does. And what's amazing, I think I paid $1,000 for that 20 something years ago.
Yeah,
Um, I don't even remember paying for it, so I don't remember the number. But I laugh at the $10 to $20 range, and I mean, if they give me a dollar for dollar, I'd be a happy camper. Or if they gave me 50 cents on the dollar, I'd be a happy camper. So, um,
absolutely.
but I do think it's going to be in that three. I'll ask you that question follow up. It seems like it's 481. Is that the number that seems to be sticking on that?
That seems to be the most consistent number that I hear. I've seen screenshots of where it appears on different forex screens. So 481 seems to be the kind of the fixed rate right now. Um, and I've said it for a very, very long time. I think 4 to 8 is a very reasonable rate for the dinar. And depending on where the dinar goes, I think the dong is going to be roughly roughly 50% of that. So if the dinar goes for 4, well, then guess what? The dong's going to go for 2. If the dinar goes for 8, well, then the dong could go for 4, right? But could it go a little bit higher? Sure. I mean, Al Sinani in 2013 or 2012, when he was in front of the World Economic Forum in New York City, laying out the revaluation for the Iraqi dinar, he stated he could see it as high as 1850. You know what I mean? Like if on a very high
That
note,
would be wonderful.
1850, but he didn't say it was going to go for 1850. He said on a high end, I think it could be justified. But you know, 4 to 8, you know, anything in or around 10, oh my gosh, right? I mean, but I'm with you, and that's been my predominant message over the last couple of months is just, you know, reasonable expectations and being grateful for whatever we get. You know, I mean, 10, 20 cents for every dollar of currency you have, you're going to have more money than you've ever had ever in your life.
Well, just take mine, for example. I mean, I've got more than just the dinar. I've got some, the Vietnamese. I've got some other stuff, but like I paid $1,000. I mean, if you gave
Yeah,
me, 200 grand for 1.5 million, that's a hell of an investment.
heck yeah. You know, I mean, that's a return of, you know, I don't know,
It's
500,
astronomical. Yeah.
500,000%.
Yeah, right, right. So I'll be
Thank you,
happy with
Chip.
whatever it is.
Heck
But
yeah.
but thanks so much for your time.
No,
Thank you, Chip.
absolutely.
All right, God's child, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, God's child, your mic is unmuted. All right, Linda Hendrickson, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Hi. When you were talking earlier about people resigning, the CEO of X resigned today also.
Correct.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I forgot her name. Linda something, I think.
Yeah.
And then another thing I wanted to say was, did you ever see the video where President Trump said, if you do anything to us, there's gonna be, I forget how we worded it, but like I've been watching videos today throughout like different platforms, whatever. There's like flooding worldwide.
Yes.
Yeah, Taiwan, I think it was, Indonesia, New Mexico was another one of them today.
Yeah.
Remember everybody too. Remember, things
Yep.
aren't always as they seem. There are videos coming out about these floods, and you're seeing, a lot of AI stuff is being put out
Yep.
there. There's cars that have two front ends on them, and
Yep.
then
I saw that one.
Hey, hang on a second, Linda.
Yep.
There is a video surfacing, and I'm looking further into it, Rubber Duck and I, but of the floods that happened in Texas, and a military truck full of girls in that camp area, smiles on their face, almost as if they were rescued prior to this happening. And then you go and you compare the pictures of the girls in the truck to their pictures, just like school pictures or whatever. They look very similar. So we have seen a lot of this happen from Sandy Hook. We've seen a lot of these paid actors go out there and, crisis actors, right? So I'm not saying that this is factual, but this video is surfacing, and these kids in these pictures look just like the girls that are in that truck that are almost look like they were being saved prior to this happening. So not dirty at all, smiles on their face. So just remember, everybody, things aren't always as they seem.
Right. Back in 2020, I refused to watch the Super Bowl because I had started following people like you guys. And I refused to watch the Super Bowl with my husband. I did stuff like this instead. That was crazy.
Well, good for you. You're ahead of the game. Thank you,
Thanks,
Linda.
Sarah. Thanks. God bless.
Did you want to say something, Dallas? Go ahead.
No, well, I was just going to say that, the emergency management director of that region of Texas stated that military was down there 2 days before the flood happened, It goes back
Ah.
to the lady that was killed in Minnesota, who voted, to take away Social Security benefits from illegal immigrants, and then the next day she shows up shot in her house, and then the next day the lead detective gets on and does a live press conference and says, well, we're really glad to bring this 2-year investigation to a close, and nobody flinches, nobody looks at him like he just farted in church. Nobody, not like nothing. They're just like, yep, yep, yep. And they're no recounts, no like, oh, I misspoke. It just, yeah, we're glad to bring this 2-year investigation to a close. We caught the killer, and nobody bats an eye, right? And it frustrates me to no end to say that there's lots of people that say, this is a movie, it's already happened, it's just playing out. There's more and more evidence coming out that's legitimately the truth, that what is being presented to us and to the media and to the masses is nowhere near the actual truth, and it's being presented in a way to invoke responses primarily from the cabal and the bad guys to let so they let their guard down, and
And
I just
fear to us too, right?
a little bit, yeah. So we just got to keep a level head, and again, I'm the first to say I'm an emotional person. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and when I'm upset, I'm upset. But I'm also an incredibly introspective person, and I never stop searching. I never stop learning, and I am always open to new information and new ideas and new ways to think about something, and new ways to perceive something. And in the last 24 hours, I have flipped 180 degrees, which is what I yelled and screamed about Monday and Tuesday on the other end, right? I was like, what do you mean there's no list? What do you mean, the charges are dropped? 6 months ago, you said that you had the file on your desk, Pam. And now she said, well, the actual quote was, I have the list on my desk. Well, I didn't say list. I said I had the file. Well, no, you didn't say file. You said list. And you also said that there was gobs of information from the New York office that had been hidden. Cash Patel, we found a whole closet full of Epstein files that had been hidden. You know what I mean? So it's the movie Wag the Dog. If you haven't
Yep,
seen it,
yep.
I strongly suggest you go watch it, because that is a huge part of what we're living through right now.
Yep.
And I think it's all to set us up for the disclosure.
Amen. Amen. There's something bigger coming, everybody. Know that there is something bigger than what is happening with all this chaos coming. Okay, Dallas, I'm going to read you a couple questions, and I'll go back to the board or the front board here and call on you guys that I've unmuted your mic. So if you guys have a question for Dallas, you want to ask the question, please start raising your hands. I'll unmute your mic. He typically gives us 90 minutes of his time. So we've got about, another 40 minutes. You good for that, Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So we've got a question here from Kelly. Do you think silver will go as high as gold?
Yes.
Easy breezy. Okay. Red Hat. What do you think is continuing to do? Oh, you already answered this. Trump delay the release of the 800 numbers. You're saying Trump?
And now it's been made clear to me that Trump is the final switch. It was the banks. It was U.S. banks for the last several weeks, maybe a month. But they have been put on final notice to either get their act together or be left behind. So right now, it's what I've been told is it's firmly in Trump's hands.
Thank you, Dallas. Okay, Sophia. This is from Sophia. Dallas, can you speak on paying on your bills with a routing number for Mellon Bank in New York City, Social Security, and your Social Security number, the account as the account number? Is this legit or a scam? I'm going to say I have heard it's a scam, so be careful of that. It's called Mellon Bank. What do you know about that, Dallas?
Well, I know two people that have personally paid off bills accessing it in the last 24 hours. The
Through Mellon
question,
Bank?
yep. The question that was asked to me this morning before the second person hit enter was, do you think this is a scheme to get all of our Social Security numbers? Because you have to, you 000, and then you put in your Social Security number as your account number. And I said, I mean, yes. It sounds a little fishy, but I know two people that have paid their bills and gotten confirmations that the bill was paid. Um, I am not going to jump on it anytime soon. I'm going to let it kind of play itself out. But um, there's another one that's I don't know if it's connected to the same bank, but there's another process where people are doing the same thing, but they're getting their strawman account from their local state, right? Whatever state you were born in. And I do know that there are debt relief um, projects or debt relief plans that are out there accessible to us right now. They're just not advertising them.
So
Um,
real quickly, when it comes to this Mellon Bank, because I've heard some different stories on it, and I actually had somebody come into one of my chats here, and I think it might have been with you, Dallas, trying to come in and push that whole scenario. I'm not for it. I don't agree with it. I feel something like Dallas says, something is fishy. So I myself here on my chat, my podcast, am not supporting that. I'm going to suggest you guys, until you find out further information about it, to stay far away from it, because to me, something just is fishy all the way around it. Until I know something more, that's my stance on it. And if I get better information, I'll let you know. And I'm sure Dallas will as well. But for me right now, here in this chat and on my podcast, I am not supporting that. And I'm not telling you to go do any of that, because I think it's a scam. I think it's fishy, but we'll find out more, I think, here in the days to come. Go ahead, Dallas.
no, I agree. And the one counterpoint that was made to me was they have all of our information anyway. So
Yep.
the powers that be, I mean, there have been so many giant leaks, data breaches in the last 5 to 10 years. Our social security numbers, our account numbers, our secret PIN numbers, and I mean all that stuff is already on the dark web. But I am not a gambler. So I literally told my friend this morning who asked me, I said, well, I'll be honest with you. I don't plan to do anything for another month or so until I hear what happens with those that have done it. And then they went ahead and hit enter, and they didn't pay the whole bill. They didn't try to pay off a $20,000 credit card or anything like that. They put $100 towards it, and they got a confirmation from their credit card company that the bill had been paid. But I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch and I'm going to see what happens. And then, as Jenny said, I'll report back. But I do know two people, literally in the last 12 hours, that have done it, and both got confirmation. So we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Okay, Kirsten, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kirsten. Your mic is unmuted. All right, Kelly, your mic is unmuted. Kelly, your
Hi,
mic is unmuted.
Dallas.
Oh, there she is.
I'm here. Yes, sir, Dallas. I'm in Tyler, Texas, and I've been listening to Bo Pony a lot talking about silver because, I'm just a server at a restaurant, and I'm like, maybe I should just go get it at 34 an ounce. And I spent 3,000. I'm just hoping that he says silver's fixing to shoot vertical, like it's been suppressed. Do you know anything about the silver?
Yeah, I mean, silver has been ridiculously suppressed for 150 years. Silver and gold. Silver is used in everything. Gold, I'm not going to say gold is an endless resource, because that wouldn't be an accurate statement. But there's way more gold still in the ground than there is silver. Well, why is gold $3,400 an ounce and silver is $34 an ounce? When silver is used in everything, right? So I think we're really close to 38. Once it hits 38, we're going to see 40, and once it hits 40, like literally, in my opinion, the sky's the limit. And is it going to be equal to gold? Absolutely. I think it could actually surpass gold, but really it depends in the next 7 days between now and Monday, the 14th. If the USN is announced, it's going to be backed by gold and silver, which means gold and silver both have to be set at a new fixed exchange rate. And so, I mean, I'm not making necessarily a prediction, but if the USN is announced, I think we see gold and silver both, but silver specifically skyrocket, even if it just makes it even with gold. You know, you're going to go from $34 an ounce to 3,400 an ounce. That's
Right.
a heck of a gain, right? I mean, that's thousands and thousands of percent gain. So
Right. I heard that the silver has been so suppressed, but it's actually a scarcity. Like silver is really, because we have so much gold, that silver is actually more important because there's less of it.
yeah, that's what I just said.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, Amy Bald, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, am I coming through?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. My question's about the RV. I heard from yesterday, one of the boards I watch, that Bank World Note did not report. There's something about reporting your social security number to the Treasury Department so they can send you the email. And Bank Note World said that they didn't do that. So that's where I bought all my currency from. So I'm not going to get the email. How am I going to, call and find out? How am I going to book an appointment?
Well, they shouldn't have had your social security number because there's no reason to put that information when you buy. They have your email. If they didn't submit their emails, then they violated their distribution agreement. But when the emails or the 800 numbers come out, it's going to be widely disseminated through this broadcast, through Mark Z, through Bruce, through PPN, through I mean it's going to blow up on Telegram like nothing you've ever seen. So
Okay.
you'll definitely get it.
And I have another question. This may sound dumb, but when I call, what do I say and what do I not say? Because I heard they're watching, they're listening to what you're saying. And if you say anything about an NDA, they're going to keep your money. So what do I say how do I book this appointment?
Well, nobody knows because none of us have been through it yet, but they're first going to verify your identity with readily accessible public information. So, what's your address? What was your last address? What state were you born in? I mean,
Right.
if you went to a bank and opened an account right now, or if you went online, all right, let's say you bank with Wells Fargo and you wanted to open an account at Chase, well, and you wanted to do it online, well, they would have to verify your identity. So they would ask you some, again, readily available public information to validate your identity. And then at that, they might ask what types of currencies you have, but do not tell them how much. Don't say I got 1.7 million of this and I got 10.2 million of this. Just say I've got dinar, I've got dong, I've got zim. But they're going to validate your identity. They're going to more than likely ask what types of currencies you plan to exchange, and then they're going to schedule the appointment.
I heard they will come to you or you can go to them.
I mean, that has been reported. I can't tell you that that's a fact, but it has been reported because they want your money. I mean, they want to take part in this because the banks and the states are going to get, percentages of these exchanges. So if you
Why are the
cannot,
banks denying that they're taking the dinar? NDAs?
some of it, but most of it is just, I need to know the tellers at the front counter who don't
No,
have.
this is the wealth managers and everything else.
Amy, real quickly, can you let Dallas finish? Because I'm sure he'll probably get to your whole question. So go ahead, Dallas.
I'm sorry.
Yes, please. Thank you.
The tellers don't know because they don't need to know, and most of them don't have college degrees, to be honest with you. The wealth managers and the bank managers, again, it's need to know. And I've discussed multiple times already on the call, one of the big hangups has been the American banks. They have just slow rolled this. They, like if I ignore it, maybe it'll go away. Well, guess what? The whole is exchanging, and the GCR is a global currency revalue.
Right.
And so the American banks are being forced to come to grips. If you follow, if you follow this over the last 90 days, you've heard probably 100 bank stories where Mark Z has said it openly. He has had bank managers and wealth managers that he has known and talked to personally for years that have said, "Man, you're crazy. That's a scam. You know, you're getting
Yeah.
ripped off." And just in the last 90 days, they're now calling him and saying, "Man, you know that thing you've been talking about all this time? It's happening." Hold on one second.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you, Amy.
That's
But
okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Go ahead, Dallas.
No, no, I'm just they are coming. They're coming online, and if they don't know about it, the manager at my local Wells Fargo plays stupid every time I'm in there. Well, guess what? I don't think that bank is going to be there when this happens because you know, I've had some pretty frank conversations with her. I showed her the email from um Diamond. I can't remember his first name. The CEO of Chase,
Jamie.
Jamie Diamond. I showed her the email that went out, the internal email that told his wealth managers to get ready.
Oh,
Can you guys?
we lost you for a second.
Yeah, I got a call. I showed her the internal memo from Jamie Dimon to all of his wealth managers, and she was like, "Oh man, I haven't seen anything like that. That looks pretty serious." I was like, "It is," but I'm just telling you, the Wells Fargo next to my house, I don't think it's going to be there when this happens because she knows nothing, or at least she tells me she knows nothing. So we just
Well, and I think we're going to see a lot of that here transpire here real shortly. A lot of these banks turning into wellness center, not wellness centers, but what do you call them? Wealth centers or something like that. Wealth management. There you go.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So here's a question for you on the board, Dallas. This is from Sock Puppet. Dallas, why do you think Trump is putting 30% tariffs on Iraq? Thank you.
I think it's a ruse. The same reason, the same reason that he's bashing BRICS and saying if you're a part of BRICS, we're going to tariff you 10%. At the same time, he is bragging about these trade deals that he's signing with these countries that are all publicly a part of BRICS. It's just it's a word shell game. I don't think there's any validity to it whatsoever.
It's a word salad.
Yeah.
All right. Freedom Girl, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Jenny. I just wanted to say that I don't know that much about the financial world, but I do know that 30 years ago, Mellon Bank was a big bank. They're based out of New York, and they did all of the HSA side of the business for the health insurance industry that I worked in. So again, I'm not saying that they're good, safe, or otherwise. Thanks.
Yeah, I just say everybody to be safe. Like I'm not promoting that here on my channel. If you guys go do whatever you do with it, that's on you. But I'm not promoting it here. I don't know enough about it. I have heard different things about it. So until I know myself that where I feel comfortable to say, oh yeah, go for it, do it. I'm not doing that here on my channel. So I just say everybody be careful. You know, your big kids. You're going to do what you're going to do, but always be careful and do your own research, right? Don't not do it or don't just listen to us because we say it right. Go do your own research. It's all out there. So, okay, we route Trumps today. Go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Yes, I have a question. It's actually in regards to if anybody knows about Cibolo Ranch down in Texas and its connection with Antonin Scalia was found dead of a heart attack down there, and they just got hit by the floods.
Are you talking about the former director of the Majestic Camp?
No, I'm talking about Justice Scalia.
Oh, I no, I don't have anything specific on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that. So, yeah, nothing to report on that. If we do, we'll let you know. Dallas typically, this is kind of a RV space or chat, if you will. So, yeah, if we find some information out on that, if it did happen, I'm sure it will come out and we will report on it as soon as we get some information. But thank you for your question. Okay, Prayer Warrior, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, hallelujah. It's good to talk to you. Hi, Dallas. Hey, Jenny. I want to say it's about the Mellon Bank. I know that we're not into that, but I just want to kind of verify or back up what Dallas said you were saying. I did read a couple articles in the last week or two where people who did what Dallas friends did this morning, and they did pay some banks and they paid off their cards. But within a month to 6 weeks, it got clawed back and they got in trouble. So people should really be concerned about doing it because it may go through initially and then all of a sudden it gets caught. And some people wrote articles about it and said they were in a lot of trouble because of it. So I thought I'd just throw that in there. It didn't happen the first few days. Like I said, it took anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks. Then the money was clawed back and they're now having to go through quite a bit. So it could be a trap. It could well be one.
Thank you so much. See right there, everybody. See, this is why we do what we do, right? We think collectively together. Thank you so much, Prayer Warrior. I appreciate that. And this is why, I'll stand back away from that for a little bit until I get more information. But I have heard something similar to that in a couple other stories. So just hang in there, everybody. I mean, our time's coming. Whenever that's going to be, it's going to happen in God's timing. So hang in there. Thank you, Prayer Warrior. Go ahead, Dallas.
No, that's why, this morning when I was asked, I was like, well, hey, you go ahead and hit enter and then let me know what happens in the next, 30 to 60 days.
Let me know how that works out for you, right? All right. Lanil Banks, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, Lanil. All right. Miss Cal, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi. I know Troy's in here today too. I just want to ask Dallas, and maybe somebody can comment on this. I'm sort of perplexed why Bitcoin is so high on the stock market. And then I noticed today on my Uphold account, they always show trading on Bitcoin on there, and it's now gone. There's no showing of those a coin of Bitcoin on my Uphold account anymore. It shows other ones. And I'm just wondering what that all means, if anybody knows. Thank you.
Well, I mean, Bitcoin is not my specialty. I've been pretty open with that, but I did buy XRP. I bought some XLM. I have some Doge. I have some Bitcoin that was given to me through. I think Coinbase is what I used. I think I'd have to go. I'd have to go log in and look, but I think it's going away. I mean, I honestly, I know that they keep talking about it, but again, I think it's to draw attention to the digital market, right? The digital space. But Bitcoin is not backed up by anything. There's nothing backing it up other than word of mouth and general excitement. Basically, really generated through Reddit and those kind of 4chan accounts and things like that. But I think the asset-backed ones, to my knowledge, Ripple and the SEC were finalizing their deals in front of Congress yesterday and today, or yesterday and the day before, or something like that. XRP, to my knowledge, is going to be the primary, institution to institution transfer mechanism, right? Again, I'm not the expert on it, so I don't even have the right words, but Bitcoin is a non-existent, it's a non-valued entity, and it was used for nefarious. It was created and used for nefarious reasons to hide money and to keep it off ledger. And I think that the reason that it's talked about so much is because it's the most commonly referred to. It's kind of like saying the word Kleenex, right? Like there's a Kleenex brand, but any tissue that comes in a box that I pull to blow my nose with, I'm going to refer to Kleenex, even though it might be Johnson and Johnson or, Clorox, or, I mean, it could be a different company, but we commonly refer to it as Kleenex because that is the kind of the universal name for it. I think the reason that Trump and the powers that be consistently refer to Bitcoin is because when you say Bitcoin, even people that don't know what it really is know what it is. But I don't think it's going to be around when this is all said and done.
Well, thank you. But
Jump in.
yes, you.
Yeah. Go ahead. Hang on, everybody. I was going to just call on you, Troy. Go ahead, Troy.
The only way that you can save Bitcoin is to tokenize it and run it on the XRP ledger, which would give XRP an extreme value. And I think that's what's going to happen, because Chris Larson has stated this several years back that he opened himself up. Chris Larson was one of the co-founders of Ripple, and he opened himself up and said that he would help the Bitcoin community if they would allow him to actually run the Bitcoin on the XRP ledger. And he actually demonstrated how that could be done, and he did it. And he moved Bitcoin at lightning fast speed. So the Bitcoin community, if they want to have a coin, they are going to have to step up and go talk to Ripple and tokenize the Bitcoin so it'll run on the XRP ledger. And the bank that you guys are talking about, Mellon Bank, are you talking about BNY Mellon? Is that the bank you're talking about?
Mellon, MELLON.
The one that's in New York.
That's BNY Mellon, and it's probably one of the biggest banks in the United States. Also, just yesterday, Ripple is an outstanding company. They announced that BNY Mellon was going to custody their funds for the RLUSD, which is huge. And RLUSD yesterday went above $500 billion or $500 million. So there's great gaining traction on the RLUSD. RLUSD is a stable coin, in case you guys don't know. It's not something you want to run out and invest in. If you have $100 today and you invested in RLUSD, probably 5 years from now, it'll be worth $100. That's what a stable coin does. And you guys are talking about next week, the 14th, big day with ISO.
Yeah.
Next week from the 14th to the 18th is crypto week. So there's going to be some big things happen next week. One of the influencers that I listen to, he thinks the flip the switch moment is going to be the 18th and 19th of next week after the big crypto week. So that being said, BYN Mellon, they withstood a bunch. They didn't get hurt like other banks in 2008. So, I don't know what you guys are talking about as far as paying bills off with BYN Mellon, but I think BYN Mellon is one of the better banks that is out there. And Ripple also last week applied for a banking license.
Yes. Yeah. They want to create their own bank, and they want to use XRP as the primary mechanism, correct?
Correct. They bought Standard Custody about 2-3 years ago. Standard Custody also applied for a master account with the Fed. FedNow and FedWire will be using RLUSD, so that's going to be huge as well.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Troy. Like I said, that is not my world of expertise, but everything you said is what I've been hearing. I just don't know how to articulate it as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Troy. All right, I'm gonna get you on next week, Troy. So we're gonna get Troy on next week because I think it's pretty imperative what he's has to say, and hopefully, Cal, that answered your question. All right, Kathy H, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I did do it on the Mellon Bank. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I did do it on the Mellon Bank. Okay. Me and a girlfriend did. Okay. I chose 2 different bills that had already been paid or that weren't due yet. I did it on purpose and I just made a payment. Okay. Because I figured if it didn't work, then I would be okay. Okay. Mine silently came off and it was backed off and it was all quiet. She decided to take $1,000 payment and pay her water bill, and they made her come in and pay $1,000 to her water bill because you had it once and you just paid it with the wrong check. So no, it is fraud, and don't do it because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. So I hope that helps.
No, 100%.
Thank you.
I think that what Troy said about the bank, my guess is that somebody that knows launched this out into the ether because it just exploded Monday night. Like Monday nights when I bet I got it from 10 different people, right? And I think that maybe it's drawing attention to that particular bank because that particular bank is going to be so intimately tied to Ripple and so intimately tied to the RUS or RS The real
RSULD or RSULD, right, Troy?
No, it's RLUSD. Easy way to remember that. It's called Real USD. RLUSD.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's as Troy was talking, that's what made sense to me, is that for whatever reason, and they're just like, a bunch of people are going to jump on this, but I think it's to draw attention to that particular bank. So as all this stuff comes out with Ripple, XRP, when we have, the ISO 222 on the 14th, and then from the 14th to the 18th, like Troy said, it's going to draw so much attention to that particular bank. It is my, that's my conspiracy theory mind just kind of working overdrive, but that's kind of my thought on it.
Yeah, keep in mind that we might be talking about two different banks too. You're talking about Mellon Bank, but it might not be the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is BNY Mellon.
Yeah, I think they might be different, everybody. So be careful. Be careful. All I have to say, everybody, is I'm not promoting it here. As we continue to find out more about it, and we've had 2 or 3 testimonials here, so buyer beware. That's what I've said. If you guys do it, and that's on you. We're not pushing it. I'm not pushing it at all. But this is how we learn stuff, guys. We got to talk through it. So I appreciate all of you coming up and giving your information that you know about that particular bank. Okay, so let's see who's next. Carolina girl, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. And Vaughn Harrell, real quick, I saw that you came up here, but you disappeared. So if you're still here, I'll unmute your mic if you still have a question. Go ahead, Carolina, Carolina girl. Okay, Granny, USA, your mic is unmuted.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I have, I think it's a fraud. I had an email. Well, first I had a phone call from the United Overnight Express from a Danny. And he called me and told me that I needed to call because I had a package they couldn't deliver and they needed it registered. And I thought, what? So I called this number. He also gave me a tracking number. And he gave me a number, but it didn't work. So he called me the next day and he said, did you get a hold of J. Arthur Ginsburg? I said, no. I said, that number didn't work. So he gave me again and he had switched a number. So I called again. And he tells me I have a package from AGS Payments, which is, darn it, I can't think of anyway, it's a giveaway service for kids, like if I donated to a kids thing, which I could have, but I didn't remember it. Anyway, he is from Carnegie Stearns. So he starts telling me I have a package that's for $375,000. And I says, I bet you there's insurance or something due, right? Well, probably something, but I'll take care of everything for you and I'll call you back. Well, we haven't touched base again, but I know. And I told him, I says, hey, I don't have any money. So don't you think this is a scam?
Right. Yep.
Right here.
Red flag.
Yeah, right.
Red flag, a red flag all the way right there. And I'm going to tell you, everybody, there are scams left and right. You're getting them via your text saying that you owe a toll and your license is going to be suspended from DMV if you don't pay this. I mean, there's scams everywhere. And then you're getting, you're pre-approved for this kind of loan. If you don't recognize a phone number or a text, do not respond to it. I'm telling you, these scams are out there. They're full force, and I mean, some of these scams just blow my mind how retarded they sound, right? So yeah, that's red flag all over, Granny USA. So I would say just blow them off. Don't even respond to them anymore.
I'm not. And they even sent me all the paperwork with the certificate. I mean, there was like 10 pages. I mean, they really got it looking good. So I'm thinking, I hope nobody else falls for this.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to share it. So anyway, thank you for letting me talk. And thank you, Dallas. And you have a great day.
Thank you, Granny. Appreciate you sharing. Love that you guys are sharing this information, because guess what? There's other people out there that are probably getting the same thing and maybe don't know what to do or might want to do it. So thank you. I appreciate all of you guys coming up here and sharing that. This is what we need to do. Collective, right? So thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, Carolina girl. Go ahead, Dallas.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, I'm getting all kinds of texts about tolls and texts about the newest one that I'm getting is a text that says I have warrants out for my arrest, and if I
Yep.
don't call and pay, then they're gonna show up at my door and arrest me. like I can't have a warrant I don't know about, right? I mean that's impossible. But again, I'm a big movie guy. If you haven't seen the new movie Beekeeper with Jason Statham, you should watch it because it's about internet internet scams and 401k scams. And what is it? What is the organization that was contributing to Kamala Harris? Something Blue, Net Blue, or
Oh shoot, I just got a brain fart. Back
Blue
the
Origin.
Blues. What is it, Troy?
Wasn't it Blue Origin?
Yes, right. I mean, they were scamming people out of their retirement funds, and that's how they were dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into her campaign coffer, right? So, or Act Blue is what it was called.
Yeah, there you go. Act Blue. I've been sitting here racking my brain.
But if you haven't seen the movie Beekeeper with Jason Statham, I highly recommend you watch it because it is a scam, and they are trying everything because they've cut off all their money supplies, guys, and they are desperate for money because the only way
They're
they can
broke.
maintain power is to maintain control of our money, and they are doing everything in their power. So be extra vigilant. I get those texts all the time. You have a package that is undeliverable, and I just report, delete, and just I don't even mess with it, right? If it's that important, the person who sent it to me is going to call me, right? So
Amen. Amen. Same thing with, the quote unquote IRS. They'll never call you or anything like that. If anything, they'll send you something in the mail. So don't fall for the IRS bullshit either. So, okay, Dallas, how you doing on time, my friend? You got time for a couple more questions?
sure.
All right, cool. All right, Carolina girl, go ahead. Your mic is unmuted. Let's try a second time. Go ahead, Carolina girl. All right, I got to move on if you can't respond. Go ahead, Kim Gajewski. Did I say that right? Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead, Kim. Your mic is unmuted. All right, go ahead, Maria G. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead, Maria. Can you guys hear me? Does nobody want? They just want to request a mic but not speak. Maria G. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. All righty, Chris. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Oh my goodness. Chris, you requested a mic. Go ahead. All right, Prayer Warrior. Let's try you. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead again. Go ahead, Prayer Warrior.
Well, I just want to let you know that I could hear you very well. Okay.
Thank
And
you.
that was it. I'm just going to tell you that. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so here I got a couple of questions here for you on the wall. Let's see. Okay, from Carol Ann, what is the timeline? Well, this is a Troy question. We'll get Troy on next week. Everybody, you guys can ask these questions to Troy. Dallas, this is from Corey. Dallas, what is the difference between Chase Bank Private Banker and Chase Private Wealth Manager? I was told there is a huge difference.
The private wealth managers are headquartered out of New York, the primary bank in New York, and they are specifically designed to help high net worth people on the private investment and the private banking side. A private banker is just Joe Schmo. You walk into a bank and they help you get your checking account set up and get your business account set up and stuff like that. But the wealth managers are headquartered there. They report directly to the main bank in New York is the main difference.
Thank you, Dallas. All right, Mama of Boys, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, Dallas. I got to say thank you
Hello.
for putting yourselves out there. Hey, I wanted to see what you thought of this. My dad is an 86-year-old, 30-year retired cop.
never paid into Social Security, but my mom did, who died. She died 30 years ago. He just got and he's real confused about it because he doesn't know what's going on. 2 checks from the Treasury Department, one for 25,000, another one for 12,000, and then he also got a letter saying he's going to get 1,300 more per month from Social Security. Where does
Ooh, that sounds. What
Yeah.
does that sound like, Dallas?
Yeah, what does that sound like?
Does that sound like Nasara?
Yeah.
Isn't
I,
that?
Woohoo!
I've been told that they have been running tests for the last 6 to 9 months, and
Okay.
it's getting broader and broader and broader. So
Wow.
I think that's part of the rollout of Nasara and the programs that they
Okay,
have
where do you,
for all of us.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm just wondering, what do you think, since he never paid in, he gets a pension, you know, he gets a pension from being a cop. Would that be like from what my mom, because I'm trying to explain to him, he doesn't think it's his. He's trying to give it to my brother who's got the same name as his and says that it's got to be his money. He's like really confused.
No, it's from his wife. I mean, he's a direct beneficiary of his
Right.
wife's Social Security, so it's from his wife.
All right, it's from my mom. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys because that just happened within the last couple days.
That's
And
crazy.
it's real. That's what I was doing a dance. I'm like, it's real. It's real. I've been saying it for forever.
Oh,
It's real.
that's awesome news. Wow, what a great podcast here, everybody. Thank you for all your stories, guys. This is awesome. Thank you, Mama Boys. Go ahead, Vicky Victorious. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. Hey, Dallas. I don't, if you can answer this, this is a little bit different. Oh, I did want to say the Mellon Bank. I did research it, and Mellon Bank was some kind of acquisition or something. So it is now BNY, but the X text that went around just said Mellon Bank. It didn't say anything and did not reference BNY. So everybody's probably exactly right. It's a fraudster. But I have a question. So, and this is why I'm bringing it up, because Truth Social, well, they said Trump Social, he's going to create or file for a XRP ETF, right? And they have their world financial coin or whatever, but anything that they do, they're telling people you can buy in, but you can't sell it and you can't exchange it. Like, you have to hold on to it. But to me, there seems like a conflict of interest, and I don't know, I'm confused about it all. Can you speak to any of that, or is that just not your wheelhouse?
That's
Thank you.
that's a Troy question. Unless Dallas, you know. Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, all the Trump coins and the Trump gold cards and all that stuff. I stayed away from all of it. You know, is there going to be some value in it at some point? Probably, but there are just as many fake accounts on True Social as there are on any other social media platform. So I would assume that it's a ploy, it's a scam of some kind, but
Well,
I don't know for sure.
real quickly, Vicky, I do know because there is a Trump crypto coin. Yes, I have purchased that up through Uphold. So there is a coin to regarding it's a Trump coin. But Troy, since you're here, do you want to touch on that before we go?
Yeah, he did file for an spot ETF on. It's a fund, and it has Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solano, and it has XRP in it as well. So yeah, that's huge.
So that's his personal, but the government is still doing the same thing. It's he's doing it himself, and the U.S. government's doing the same thing. Is that right?
I don't think the U.S. government's doing it. I think it's Donald Trump's True Social, and you got to keep in mind there's like 20 companies that have filed for a spot ETF. Last week, the SEC granted permission for Grayscale to go live with their spot ETF on XRP, and then as soon as they approved it, they they canceled it. They said no, we're gonna push this down the road a little bit. But I think they're waiting on probably next week with this Genius Act passing. Then I think we're going to see 20, probably even BlackRock will get in there and do a spot ETF, and that'll just skyrocket XRP.
Thank you,
Yeah, it
Troy.
needs to. It needs to. Bitcoin's gotten a free ride for too long. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Vicky. All right, everybody. Dallas, you want to say any last thoughts? I know you give us 90 minutes. We're right there.
Yeah, no, I'm just I appreciate you guys being flexible with me last week because I was at the kids camp. I'm going to be out of pocket again next week with my family. So pray for travel mercies. We're driving to the East Coast again because well, we don't too expensive to fly, but we're going to drive 24 hours to Cape May, New Jersey, and spend a week with my wife's family and her 100-year-old grandmother, and then we'll be back. I'll be back in Texas next weekend or the weekend of the 20th. But I just buckle up and get ready, guys. I think we're in for a wild couple of weeks. I think, Troy, thank you so much for being on and sharing because you have insight into things that I have a working knowledge of, but I am on purpose. I have not become the crypto guy because my brain is too full of other things financial. But I think we're in for a wild ride, guys. I think disclosure is coming. I think all of this Epstein stuff, and I think it's all it's all the art of war, right? It's programmed or predetermined deception. It's appearing weak when they're really really strong, and we got to stay grounded in our faith first and foremost. From my perspective, we got to stay grounded in our own worlds and our own lives, and we got to stay grounded in what's taking place. And Steve Bannon, I haven't always been a big fan of Steve Bannon, but that dude has been straight up on fire for the last 4 or 5 days up to a week. And he had a pretty good dissertation this morning on his show, just talking about we got 3 years to eliminate the cabal once and for all. And if we fail, then we're pretty much SOL. So it is, all the chips are on the table. And we gotta continue to pray for our families, ourselves first, our families second, our communities third, and our government, somewhere fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, right? But I'm excited. I hope I have some really, really good news to share in 2 weeks. But just man, just stay
Buckle
positive.
up.
Yeah, but stay positive, buckle up, and try and and I'm speaking. I'm not even pointing a finger at you. I'm pointing all the fingers at myself. Try not to get distracted or get
In
like
the
sidetracked,
noise.
right?
Stay out of the noise.
Yeah. So just stay grounded, stay humble, and just get ready because I really do think it's about to come roaring down. I think the
Yep.
EBS is closer than it's ever been. And the EBS is the trigger for disclosure. So
Yeah, it is.
wait until they start dumping the actual truth, right? I mean, yeah. So just
People
stay
are losing
grounded.
their minds now. Wait until they actually dump the truth. And yes, like Dallas said earlier, there's going to be about 4 to 6%. It's always been told that people are not going to survive this, literally. So we need to pray for those as well. So with that, everybody, Dallas is here every other Wednesday. He will be back with us on the 23rd when he gets back from vacation. Safe travels, my friend. And I'm going to try to get Troy on. Troy, I'll talk to you. Let me know if you can maybe do this Friday, since I think it's kind of imperative for you to come on with everything moving that so quickly in that XRP world. So everybody come back and join us in an hour for Captain Kyle. We will be over here 5:30 Central Standard Time, and you don't want to miss Captain Kyle. He's always straight to the point, like all of my guests. So Dallas, God bless you, love you, and safe travels, and have a great vacation.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, sweetie, we'll talk to you soon. God bless everybody. Take care. We'll talk to you in a little bit with Captain Kyle.
Thanks, Dallas. Thank you,
Thanks,
Dallas.
Troy.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. And tune in to Captain Kyle because I got a call right before this call that was like, "Hey, Captain Kyle's going to man this other show at 3:00. You really got to be on there because he's going to be talking about the flooding and he's going to be talking about the Epstein stuff." And like, I don't know if that's what he talked about, but people are pretty excited. So tune in to Captain Kyle and see what he has to say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because Captain Kyle, he's straight up. Everybody, I mean, he's. If you've not ever listened to him, come check us out. And Dallas, you too. He's on with us every 2 weeks. He's on after you every 2 weeks. So it's kind of a cool lineup with you and then Captain Kyle. So with that, everybody, we'll see you in a few. God bless you. Love you all. Take care, Dallas. Talk to you soon.